Loud and Quiet presents Midnight Chats.
Newspaper. Just try it, mate. Believe it. All right, goodbye.
That was the sound of my guest on this week's podcast. Not recorded recently at all, actually, that little snippet. That was from back in 2014, which is when I last saw Mac DeMarco. We were in Amsterdam together as he was touring Salad Days, his second album, and we were doing a cover feature. He was on the cover of Loud and Quiet 59 back in June of 2014. And that was the sound of Mac attempting a British accent. I think he was being a market trader and he was trying to flog copies of Loud and Quiet.
Try it. It's called Loud and Quiet. A great local fucking newspaper. Just try it, mate. Believe it. All right, goodbye.
It's an appalling attempt, of course, but that's exactly what I like about it. I love North Americans doing bad British accents, and that was something that he just launched into. We'd done the interview that day, I remember, and I'd given him a copy of our issue that was out at that point, and he just kind of grabbed it and started doing this skit. So I asked him to do it a second time so I could film it on my BlackBerry, which was my phone of choice back then. And that little bit of footage, if you care to watch it, is on our YouTube channel. I think it might be the first thing that we posted on there. In fact, I might have even started the YouTube channel because I had that on my phone and I found it funny. Since then, Mac has released a couple more records. He's released a mini album called Another One, and he's just about to release his third proper album called This Old Dog. It comes out next month on Captured Tracks. And that's the official reason he came by our office to record this podcast a couple of months ago. He was in town purely doing press, which is a bit of a drag for most musicians to not be playing shows whilst they're in towns. That's normally the respite from all the crapping on to journalists, is they get to actually play a show in the evening. Mac, to save his own sanity, managed to squeeze in a special solo acoustic show here in London at Nambucca the following night after I spoke to him, and I think he needed that. He's not really a big fan of doing interviews, although I think you'll probably agree once you've listened to this, he's very good at them. He's just he'd rather be playing, which is understandable. So thanks to Mac for coming by on his trip here. I'm not going to say much more about this episode because we're on press deadline here today. We need to send a new issue of the magazine to print, which by the time you're listening to this episode of the podcast, the magazine will either be out or it will be out in 1 day's time. I'm procrastinating, really. I shouldn't be recording this intro now. This can wait till tomorrow, but I'm just on deadline, and I'm just trying to do everything but finish my work for some reason. Anyway, I need to get on with that now. So I'm going to leave you with Mac DeMarco on Midnight Chats number 25. And if you do enjoy it, please do leave a little comment or rate it on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts from. It's quite hard to find on the iTunes app where you actually post a comment. So I won't be offended if you just cannot be asked or if you give up. But if you do, if you know how to do that, or you've got some spare time on the bus, leave some feedback, give us a little rating. And if you're not a subscriber, or you're maybe listening to this on YouTube or elsewhere online, you can subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast from. We're on all the platforms that you can get on your Androids. Not Blackberries though, they are sadly a thing of the past, which is why I had to get rid of mine. Until next time, here's Mac DeMarco on Midnight Chats.
All right, goodbye.
woke up early. I already had a salt beef bagel today, which is the one thing I need when I'm in London. So I'm a happy camper right now.
Did you get that on Brick Lane?
Yeah, I had it at the one on the right, if you're looking at them.
That's the best one.
That's the only one I've been to, but I think I made the right choice the first time.
I kind of feel bad for the bagel shop on the left because I think everyone just goes to the one on the right.
The one on the left didn't look that bumping, but this one had like...
Had a queue.
Yeah, had like a candy cane line going through it.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
That's impressive that you've had a salt beef bagel. I mean, no, we're getting on for lunchtime.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah, any time of the day is good with me for that.
So you're here doing some press.
Promotion tour 2017.
This is your
promo
promotion.
tour, my favorite kind of tour. Absolutely love it.
If you had it your way, that'd all be like this, right? There'd be no shows.
Oh,
It would
hell
just
no.
be-
Shows? No way. Interviews, photo shoots all day? Oh, yeah.
That's all you're about.
Yeah.
The,
I wouldn't even make records if I had the choice. You know?
you
Just interviews, you know?
you are sneaking in a show tomorrow night though. A solo
Little
show.
one, yeah. Yeah.
Is that just to keep you sane whilst?
I think, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you've just thought I need to like.
Just something.
I need to do some. I need a treat for me. I need something for me.
Yeah, exactly.
On this
Yeah.
tour. So you're doing it's fortunate for me that show because it's right by my house.
Nice.
It's not far.
Where is it?
It's in a place called Nambucca in Holloway, in North London.
Okay.
Which is about maybe a 25-minute drive from here.
Okay.
But it's just you, right? It's just you.
Just me playing some songs. I do it sometimes.
When was the last time you did a show where it was just you and not the band?
Well, I did the same kind of little press tour solo show in Berlin because we were there like 4 days ago or something. So I did that one. Oh, excuse me. And I do them in the States every once in a while. It's like, sometimes I'll fly and just do one at like a college or like some city or whatever. I like doing them. They're fun. It's like a little bit of a very different thing than in some ways,
Yeah.
it's different than with the band. Other people could argue that it's just me doing the exact same thing without the band there. So, but yeah, it's fun. But I think there's been tours where the van is broken down and then I'll get in the support van and like the support band's van and go to the next cities and just do the shows as opposed to canceling them.
Sure.
By myself. Sometimes the crowd is into it, sometimes not so much.
What are the marked differences? Is it just you and what's your setup? Do you just take one acoustic guitar?
Sometimes I do it acoustic. I'm doing it electric over here. Yeah, just me singing guitar. Sometimes I'll have a little keyboard, but not this time. Yeah, it's fun. Everybody's singing along. Hopefully,
It's gonna be busy. It's a small room tomorrow.
Should be cool.
Yeah, it should be good. So, I mean, this press tour
Mm-hmm.
that you're currently on, is for the new record,
Mm-hmm.
This Old Dog,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a different feel. This one,
I guess so. I don't know.
it's a different. Can you sense the different kind of feel of the record, or not so much?
I mean, I made it, so it's kind of hard for me, and it's not like I like listen to my old records all the time, but definitely, I mean, it sounds different to me. It felt a little different to make. I mean, I still did it the same way I do any of my other records, but just elements of it. I think at this point, because I did it already, and it was, the feeling was there when I did it. Now it's like, oh, it's not weird, But if I think about it, it's like, oh, I used acoustic guitar for a lot of it. Like, didn't really use that many like effects or anything. It's kind of, the concept of it, I think, is like pretty different maybe, but I just was kind of in it, so I don't know. It's not like I had this like list of like things that I was trying to do. Just kind of did. It just was natural.
Yeah, people I imagine are going to call it your most mellow record.
Yeah,
mellow
probably.
might be a word that they're going to use.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Goofy, slacker. I don't know. Something
that's the one that I mean, they have to be used. It's
just
we
about
get given a
some-
handbook when writing about
in my
Mac
blood now,
DeMarco
yeah.
music, and they have to be mentioned, those words.
Yeah.
Slacker, goofy.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it is a little more. Yeah, there's not very many up tempo songs on it. But the thing, I just don't really listen to fast music anymore. I mean, I do, but most of the stuff, if I'm sitting down or like get in my like little monitor zone and want to listen to something, it's all like weird. I think what I consider up tempo now, most people are like, well, this is very mellow. But
What would be your go-to?
I love like. You ever heard this album called Pacific by Harry Hosono? It's like him and the guy Ryuichi Sakamoto. They played in Yellow Magic Orchestra together, but this is like right before they decided to start it. And it's kind of like he's got this theme throughout it where it's like this. It's supposed to be this Hawaiian or like tropical island theme.
Okay.
It's like very. it's not really that, in your face. It's very mellow, But for me, that's like faster than most of the music I'd listen to today. I guess, I don't know. It's just my vibe right now.
What's at the other end of the scale? If that's your I'm going out on the town music.
Party time. Yeah, like Chuck Mangione or something is my like party music, But yeah, I don't know. I listen to a lot of like soundtrack music nowadays. A lot of like ambient synthesizer stuff. This guy Isao Tomita from Japan, I've gotten really into him this last year. His stuff's like abstract, weird, all like monosynth, like Moog stuff, and he did a lot of like it's kind of crazy. You can find his records in like thrift stores in the States because he did like turned on versions of classical music. Okay. But yeah, that guy's insane. There's one album that this guy Mort Garson from Canada, he did an album called Plantasia through this like Mother Earth series, and it's this album where you're supposed to play it for your plants and it'll make your plants happier. Okay. It's called Plantasia.
We could do with that in here. These plants here.
Yeah, they'd love it.
This one looks pretty sad today.
They all look not so
Do you
bad.
think they look okay? Because like some days you come in and I swear they're all about to die.
Looks okay. Yeah, I think they look cool.
Okay.
But yeah, they could use a little Plantasia. But yeah, I don't know. And that stuff is kind of like just strange, simple. It's not even like intricate, insane like synthesizer music. Just very simple melodies through like a weird monosynth. That's the kind of stuff and video game music. I love video game music from when I was a kid. Now, there was a time in my life where I was like trying to be too cool to like I'd find one guy like every couple of years and be like, yo, like you played Final Fantasy when you're growing up too, like that's awesome, but like let's keep it down. But now it's like that. I think a lot of that music shaped the way that I make music now, and I don't know why I was so ashamed, or not ashamed, but like just scared of letting it loose. But hell yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo music, it's something but so simple melodies, repetitive, but it gets the job done. It's no problem.
Yeah,
it's what's been interesting to me now, which is maybe weird, but I don't know.
No, that's cool. I think on the new record the thing that's going to stop, and the other thing that people are going to probably say incorrectly, of course, is that it's your unplugged record.
Oh yeah.
But the thing that stops it, it can't be that because it has synthesizer on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it can't be that. But you can hear some of the synthesizer sound video game. Yeah. Ish.
They're not cool and sexy and big. I like the cheap and shitty sounding ones.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I like.
This is probably something that people have maybe, when they hear your music, have said before. I've never really heard it until now. Your vocal on this new record reminds me of Damon Albarn. Have people said that to you before?
No, not really.
Okay.
But that's tight because I really like all the stuff that he's done pretty much. But yeah, I don't know. And that's like, I like the style of, pretty much throughout he never did like, it was like his voice, like real deal. It's not like he's this crazy. Sometimes he goes up and down, but it's mostly just like talking, timbre or whatever. It's like his normal speech range. Yeah. And it's just right in your face, not a lot of effects. I love Damon's voice.
Yeah. I think with Damon's voice, the slower it gets, the better it sounds.
Oh, yeah. It's like a lullaby. He's got one of those crazy voices,
And your new record's got a bit of that, especially the second track, which is My Old Man, right?
I think the second, My Old Man's number one, and I think This Old Dog is number
This Old
two.
Dog.
Yeah.
That particularly, I hear it in that. But I've not heard it until now. I didn't know if that was something that people
that was one of the things with the old records is I would pitch my voice, starting with Rock and Roll Nightclub, pitch it way down and then up a little bit here and there. And then on 2, it was mostly, I didn't really touch it that much on there, but there was loads of delays and reverbs and stuff on it. Then Salad Days, I started kind of tweaking my voice up a little bit to give it like a touch of John Lennon or something, you know. And then this one, I was like, I don't really want to touch it. I'm just gonna leave, and no effects on most stuff, and just wanted it to be like as like real as possible. You know, just like no baloney. Just these are these songs. That's it. Who cares? Do
you think it's because you feel like you feel more comfortable with your voice as you've toured so much? You practice not more now.
Maybe. The thing about us playing shows is I sing pretty quietly, so I can barely ever hear my voice on stage anyway.
Right.
So, sometimes the shows are fine. Most of the time I have no idea what I'm doing. I smoke like a chimney, so it's like, if anything, my voice has probably gotten worse. But For some reason with these songs, and I think it was the way I wrote them too, it's just kind of like I sat down, wrote them on a guitar. That was the song. Instead of before where it's like, okay, I'm going to get a drum machine beat, let's try a bass line, like, oh, these chords work, and then like maybe a little synth part, then like, oh, and I have like a vocal for like the chorus, but okay, now I'm going to write the verses. Like, what about, a second guitar? And it's like, so it was kind of like building a Lego thing before, but this time it was like, that's the song. And does it need drums? Well, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't. They didn't really. That's completely objective, I guess. But it's like, as a song, they could just exist that way, instead of having to be. Because a lot of my older songs, I feel like if they weren't done in the way that I recorded them or something, or like with a certain recording method or that like lo-fi or whatever, then they probably wouldn't make as much sense. Some of them be fine, but some would be kind of weird, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So it's called This Old Dog. And the theme of getting older.
Yeah.
It's something that was on the track Salad Days. It was maybe the first time it was kind of approached in a song of yours. And that theme has come back again. Do you feel old? Are you feeling old?
I don't know. I mean, well,
because you're a young man.
Yeah, I'm 26.
You're full of life. I'm looking at you now.
But I think, when I say old, with my old man, that's talking about my dad, so he is already old. But for this old dog, it's like, I feel like it's more just like a, out at you, old dog, you dirty old dog, you dirty dog bastard, like that kind of thing, I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think it's not about so much getting old and be like, oh my God, I'm like, gee. It's just like, I feel like there's been in this past year sometimes in my life where I'm kind of like, things are like not settling down, but it's kind of like I've reached a point where like, I bought a house this year. I like live comfortably. Like we tour. There's nothing like that terrifying or like confusing about my existence now, and that is what scares me. It's kind of like, well, I could just sit on my ass till I pass away, and that would be fine, But I mean, I'll play music and do whatever, but it's just hitting that kind of like, I don't know what to. I think for me in my mind, like buying a house is like it was a big marker of like, well, now you can retire. Or
that
something.
Makes you an adult. That officially
exactly,
makes you an adult.
And then now that I did it, because for 4 years probably, I was kind of like every time I'd make a little bit of money, I was like, let's see what I can afford with this, And then I finally bought something, and it's like, shit, well, what do I do now? Like, damn, it's just weird. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah. So the house you bought, is that in LA?
In LA, yeah, and that's kind of funny. It's like, why did I buy there? I don't know. I don't know why I did it there, because I could afford it, maybe. It's like I wanted to buy a house so bad, I just didn't even really think about where we were going to do it. Although I really like LA, and I have a lot of friends there, but people have been asking a lot, and for any interview for this album, it's like, oh, so you live in LA? Like, why'd you move there? I'm like, I don't know. There's no real reason. I could live wherever I want. It doesn't really matter, Like, well, pending on like visas and country entrance and stuff like that. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's sunny, I guess. It's chill. Yeah.
So where did you moved there last year?
In August, yeah.
Okay. And how's it going out that other side? How long were you in? You must have been in New York for a long time.
2-3 years or something like that. Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's different. I think that's what I was looking for moving there. Maybe is some kind of different, because it's like with New York, we lived really far out of town, but we had space. We were kind of doing the LA thing in New York already. Had a house, had a big yard, lived by the beach. I had to drive everywhere.
I thought you weren't living in Brooklyn.
I was initially,
okay.
But then we got a house in Rockaway Beach, but it was so far away from everybody that we never see anybody. So a lot of the like nice things about LA we had in New York, but except for the, a camaraderie or companionship of any kind, it's like, no, we had our roommates and that was about it, Yeah, and now we're in LA, and it's just so bizarre to live in a neighborhood where people are like, oh, I'm going to come over. It's like, what? Like, okay. That's crazy. It's a nice city. It's got a lot of things that I missed about cities that I've lived in the past. Like it's got crazy, all kinds of food. New York is crazy for food too, but some kind, some like maybe you want to go for Szechuan or good Vietnamese. You kind of got to go out a little bit. But LA, it's all just right around the corner. Great Mexican too, I'll tell you.
Do you feel healthier living in California?
See, I don't know, because the burritos are a big problem for me. There's a great truck right down the street from us, and I've had a couple beers, and it's like it's Molita time, But
you need to get into the yoga.
Nah.
The
See, these are all the things about LA
Rollerblading. What
that I
about
don't
rollerblading?
like.
I could see you
Now,
rollerblading.
what they love in LA is we should go on a hike this weekend. Let's go.
Oh
on a
yeah,
hike.
yeah, hiking.
And Kira, are you in here still?
No, Kira's
She's
gone
not in
outside. Is Kira into hiking?
Well, she goes on. It's beautiful. There's a lot of
Yeah.
It's weird. The weird thing about LA is it gets a bad rap for like people like, oh, it's such an ugly city. It's like, no, it's not. There's mountains, palm trees. Like everybody's house is a crazy like color. It's like it's a really crazy looking city. It's a beautiful place, you know. But I'm just not a sporty guy or an outdoorsy guy. I mean, maybe I'll go on a hike at some point. I don't know. But it's funny that I don't have a problem with any of those. I don't have a problem with yoga. I don't have a problem with juicing, whatever. But just the infusion of it into like LA, like it's like people have this predisposed mantra for a city. It's like, yes, you're going to get cryogenically frozen once a day or something. It's like I'm just gonna hang out in my house, like piss off.
Have you got a dog?
No, I don't. I've never had a dog before.
Dogs are that. I mean, my image of LA is. I've got no real basis for it. I've only been very briefly. But in my mind, as well as the yoga, the hiking, the food trucks, and the healthy living...
You got dogs.
Everyone has a dog.
Which makes sense. It's a great place to have a dog because it's hot
Because of
out.
the hiking. You can take them hiking.
You take them anywhere you want. There's space. People have yards. That was the weird thing in New York. So when you go to the city, a lot of people had dogs there too.
Right.
But it was more of a symbol in New York where it's like the bigger your dog is, the bigger your apartment is. So you see some like rich guy walking around with this like big ass dog and you're like, piss off. Like I know what you're doing. Like get out of my face.
Right.
So, but I don't know. I think having any dog in an apartment is like it's pretty cruel probably. Well, you can make it work, but big dog. Some of those apartments in New York are so tiny.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I've never had a dog. Maybe the dogs chill with it. I don't know.
Are you a dog guy?
I like them, sure, yeah.
That's a loaded question, isn't it? Because you can't say no. Because between you and I, and now everyone listening to this, I'm not that into dogs.
Really?
But
like all dogs?
I don't dislike them. It's not like it's not like I hate dogs or I'm scared of dogs or anything. I just don't really get that thing where if a dog was to come in here now, if you're in and everyone loves the dog, I just kind of don't get it.
That's fine.
That's
sometimes
okay, right?
I'm into it.
But you can't really. Some people think that makes you a complete monster of a person.
I mean, I don't know. I think I like them. I think that it's it wears off kind of quick for me too.
Yeah, it'll be hard for you to have one because you're always away.
Exactly. Well, I've said to Kira, I'm like, we should get a dog. We should get a dog. Like, I have this image in my mind of me driving around with a basset hound sitting in my, just not even driving anywhere, just driving around to show off this dog, droopy dog, head out the window. I think that's a good look, But then, she's like, you'll go on tour all the time. And also, I'm usually sitting in the shotgun seat. So, like, you're going to give the dog my seat. So I'm kind of like, oh, yeah, right, yeah, huh? But I don't know. I mean, maybe at some point. It's kind of like having a kid, honestly. That's the weird thing is when people, around my age or a little bit older get a dog and they treat it like they've had a baby. It's kind of like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah, I don't like it when people who have dogs refer to themselves as mummy and daddy.
Yeah, it's trippy, yeah.
That's just weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I like cats. I've always had cats growing up. I like dogs too. Maybe someday. I couldn't get a cat either. Maybe I'll get a lizard. Who knows? I'd like to have a big pig, like a big. People get little pigs.
Yeah.
I'm talking big pig, like a huge swine.
That would look good in the shotgun seat.
Hell yeah.
Like if you're driving. Whereabouts do you live in LA?
Echo Park area.
Okay, but if you were to go over the other side and drive around like Beverly
Hollywood,
Hills,
yeah,
with a pig sat there,
that'd be chill.
people,
it'd be interesting. Or walking
people
a
would
pig.
like that.
Yeah, walk of fame with the big. I'm talking like a boar size.
Okay.
Big nasty pig.
To show off how big your apartment is.
Yeah.
That beats the big dog.
Oh yeah.
Like I've got a big pig.
Yeah, I've got a huge pig. I just think pigs are cute. Apparently, they're pretty smart too, and they taste just like human. But I don't know. Maybe someday.
So the record, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's good because we've been talking about dogs, and it's called This Old Dog.
True. Yeah.
So there's the song My Old Man. Yeah. About your dad. Do you feel like you're turning into your dad?
There's certain aspects of my personality where sometimes I catch myself going like, "Whoa!" Like what the hell, So. But it's a common, I like to, sometimes I'll it has a certain meaning to me, but as well, it's like one of those age-old, like, human philosophical, it's like my father's hands, it's like, It's just another weird trope about of being alive. So
Yeah.
I like to dance with that a little bit every once in a while, but it is true to form with me as well. Yeah.
Do you look a bit like him as you get older?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I look a little bit more like my mom's side of the family, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we'll see.
What other themes are on this record? What can people
Um,
read into?
Like you were saying, then getting older, being confused about being alive, being confused about, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of the songs are about my family. A lot of the songs are about getting older. Some of the songs are about some, just basic things that have happened to me in the last year, 2 years or whatever. It's kind of like, it's different because Salad Days dealt with some stuff where it was kind of like, I kind of felt like that was like, I'm grumpy. Like, I'm grumpy and like, I don't like doing interviews and I don't like, I'm always on tour and like, tour is so hard. And it's like, tour is not hard. Like, I was just drinking myself to death, It's like, but nowadays it's like things have changed a lot. And like, I don't really drink myself to death that much anymore. I haven't died yet, but, we are definitely not it's not as raucous as it used to be. I mean, it is. The shows are crazy, and we will still stay with kids if we can wherever and stuff. But it's more of like a well-oiled machine, and we're like adults. And I'm not trying to act like I'm 16 or something anymore. But well, maybe I am. I don't know. But yeah, but looking at everything through a scope like that, where it's kind of like with a more grown-up view on it, it's just kind of like, and still feeling like, damn. There's just days where it's like, why do I do this? Not why do I love making music and stuff, but it's just about living a life in general and just getting to certain, landmarks in it and stuff. And it's just kind of like, this is so fucking weird, It's just me being confused. My quarter life crisis, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So do you know what's going to happen next?
See, that's the thing. I have no idea.
We're gonna buy the pig. That'll
The
help.
pig,
That'll help briefly.
I just want to keep making music. I think this last year too, I've been a lot more interested in, like, I've kind of regained some kind of love for actually, seeking out new music, trying new sounds, doing this, doing that. Where I feel like there was a bunch of years where I was very preoccupied by like just playing the crazy rock show and getting drunk and like partying and meeting people, and I love doing all that still, but it's like I have like some kind of regained or maybe new appreciation for like musicianship, or like, I don't know, maybe my palate is changing, I don't know, or something.
To be a psychiatrist about this, do you think there's something in you that, because you've got the house and you kind of are comfortable maybe for the first time to a certain extent, do you think there's something in you that is trying to not allow you to just enjoy it and just be like, hey,
definitely,
I've got everything in check, everything's good, let's just enjoy this moment?
Yeah, definitely. I think there is, but
you're kind of thinking, where's the drama?
Sort of, yeah, in so many words, but it's sort of doing that, but it's also, like I think it's just kind of like, get your kick somewhere else. Like, you had your fun.
Have you ever thought about trying acting? Now you're in LA, you're in the right town for it.
I mean, people, especially yesterday and the day before in Berlin, people were talking, the press people were like, so, like, we've seen you've been in this little short movie, and, like, you're doing this and this clip, and, And, I mean, most of that stuff that shows up on the internet is, like, me just, goofing off with my friends or whatever. But I think if I ever, seriously tried to act in something, I would fail so miserably. Like, I can play the character of Mac DeMarco, look at me, yeah, like, I can be I'm just a goofy guy, whatever, like, I just...
But you could start there. That could be your...
Maybe, but I think anything scripted or where I'm like, see, that's the whole thing. I'm lucky that I get to be a musician. I get to make money off of it, because as soon as I have somebody else, like, going, like, you do this now, do that, like, then I start going, oh, you tell me what to do one more time, So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it would work out very well. I mean, see, the actors that I gravitate to the most are, like, guys that often play the same role, like, 40 times over, and then their personality isn't too far off from it, which I think, that's kind of my vibe with the music thing even, It's like, but, like Harrison Ford or something like that. It's like, he just, where's my wife every movie, and it's like, but he's just a cool guy, I don't know. But he's funny as hell too, and he's just, he seems just real, and he's like, he figured it out a long time ago. He doesn't give a rat's ass anymore. So it's like, Fuck yeah, dude. Or even somebody like Robert De Niro or something. It's just kind of like, he's an incredible. He can do a ton of shit. But, at the same time, it's like, just does his thing. And then in real life, maybe it's not, maybe I'm just only seeing one side of or like a little bit of the whole picture. But I like that, that kind of, I don't know.
Well, bear it in mind. You're in the right town.
True.
You're in the right town for it.
True.
Did you see? I've been trying to avoid all the Oscar news this week.
I saw the envelope.
The envelope
fiasco.
Thing. Yeah, I couldn't.
How do you fuck that up? That's ridiculous.
I didn't realize until this morning that so the wrong name was read out, Best Picture, and so the name they said was La La Land, right? But that hadn't won. But they got all the way up on stage, right, and did an acceptance speech, or were they halfway through this speech?
I don't know. I just saw I saw the clip where they called it. Then I saw like the guy from La La Land like holding the Oscar. They were like, "No, like our friends, like come on up." And I was like, "Oh my," just so. And Jimmy Kimmel's there, like, "Well, like this is crazy." And then there's all these people on the internet saying like, "Oh, they're just creating this, fantasy situation to get like some to have it go viral or what." I don't know. I don't.
What, they reckon that was like all staged?
Some people are saying that.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, I hope not, but I tell you the truth, I don't care. But
yeah,
if it hadn't happened, I probably wouldn't have even known who won Best Picture or had watched any of the Oscars anyway.
That's true. Have you been back to Canada much recently?
Not since the early fall. Okay. And I just went to see my family for a little while. So,
do they still live in? They don't still live in Edmonton, do they?
Yeah, most of my family.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's the town? I remember when we spoke last, you were talking about growing up in Edmonton.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
You introduced me to a new word which I'd not heard before. Chongo. Yeah, which is the dudes, right?
Some of the meathead dudes. Yeah. I don't know. I think I think there's some like new stuff going on. The music scene seems to be going on okay up there right now. I don't really know. It was weird going back this last time because when I was a couple of years younger, I'd live in other parts of Canada, go home and like do the strut down White Avenue, like, "What's up? Like, good to see you. How you doing?" Like, "Oh, I'm back." And it was a big thing for me. Like, I was like, "Oh yeah, cool. The cool kid that moved away." And this time I tried to do the strut and didn't recognize half the stores. Ran into no one that I knew, and didn't even get recognized or anything. And I was like, well, it's not really my home anymore, is it? But it's always nice to. This time, I mean, it's been such a long time since I've been there. Because I don't go home for the holidays anymore. I don't go home. I barely even play shows there. It's like maybe once every 2 years or something. But going home this time and just being there to hang out with my fam for like a week, and then, I was like walking around my old neighborhood, like old alleyways and it's just like, it was the first time where it's like, holy crap, this is weird. It's like walk down memory lane.
So have you moved your studio? I'm guessing you've moved.
Yeah.
Is that
well, I mean, it was just in my bedroom in New York, and then now I have like a guest room, which was just filled with all my crap. But actually, when I get home in a couple days, we have a little garage on the property, and I've had it built into like a little, soundproof box. So I'll be moving all my stuff in there, and it should be nice. I think. Yeah.
Jazz 2.
That's right.
Is that what you're calling it? Have you got a?
Well, it's probably like Jizz Jazz 8 at this point.
But yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be nice. I think I'll like it. Yeah.
It's nice that you're self-sufficient in that way. That you can pretty much make all your records on your own terms.
Yeah.
You don't need to go into a studio.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at first it was just like going to a studio is too expensive. I remember when I lived in Vancouver, there were a couple studios that were like, "Come check it out," and I did a day at this one studio called The Hive, which is a really nice studio in Vancouver. And the guy Colin from there was just kind of like, "Yeah, come do a day." And I was like, "Sweet. Do I owe you anything?" He's like, "Nah, man, I'm just hooking you up for today." I was like, "Okay, cool." But then even asking him at the end, I was like, "Well, like, what if I wanted to come back and do more here? Like, how much would it cost?" He's like, "Don't worry about it. Like, you couldn't afford it." And I was like, "Oh, but not in a way where it's kind of like we're too, it's just kind of like maybe someday." But like for it's ridiculous. I was paying $200 a month rent, but like it would probably be more than that for a one day in the. But and they go up from there. But it's just so I never had that, and also working against the clock and all this kind of stuff. And I like I've always done it at home. At first I had no idea what I was doing. You kind of learn, and things change, and the way things sound changes, and so you can get it to a pimp spot but you're just always in the same level of comfortability.
Yeah.
In your undies.
Do you feel like the perception of you's changed since you started? In terms of this thing we were saying earlier about people always feel they have to say slacker or joker and all these kind of things.
Maybe. I don't think, like, I think that a lot of people for this record too are going to be like, oh, he's trying to, like, you know, show us that he's grown up. Like, I couldn't care less. That's the whole thing about it, is like, there's you know, I mean, I get the slacker. There's a lot of kids out there, I notice sometimes, you know, because, for example, somebody will post something about this album and be like, Mac, classic Goofy Mac is back. And then all my fans in the comments are like, these songs aren't goofy. Like, screw you. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, you know? And it's cool that they're doing that. I don't care if somebody thinks it's a goofy song, that's fine, you know, it's whatever. But I know there are kids out there in my fan base that, like, people can take whatever they want. Like, some kids get, like, an emotional response from the songs, or maybe just think it's a catchy tune. Other people watch my interviews or something else, know this persona, perhaps even haven't even heard the music before, which is always crazy for me to find out about.
Yeah.
But understandable, you know, I do so many, like, videos and crap that it's like maybe makes sense. But for me, it's you know, I think of it kind of similar to the way I think of songwriting and recording and releasing music, where as soon as you put something on a vinyl or put something on your Bandcamp or whatever and put it out in the world, it's like not really yours anymore. It's just public domain. But the same thing goes for my personality, you know. It's not like I signed to, like, a 360 deal and they, like, own my image, but it's kind of like, you know, I can't stop people from making a meme of me or, like, yada yada yada. But so I'm being me, but there is a disconnect where it's kind of like I give it away and then people hone in on certain things, and if they want to, you know, paint me as goofy or paint me as, you know, serious or paint me as whatever, like, there's nothing you can do about it, and I just stopped giving a shit a long time ago. Yeah, so, and yeah, that's the funny thing. The other thing is, you know, I meet some people that get stressed out about, like, how they're being portrayed and how yada yada yada, and, like, they want to, and I don't, yeah, whatever, you know. It's so ridiculous what I do anyway. It's I like, to make money off of something like this is dope, but so silly, you know, so silly. But it's great, you know. There's no complaints, but that's probably part of this, like, whole, you know, theme of the record is, like, this is my life. It's so ridiculous, and, like, and now I own a house. Like, what the fuck, you know? I don't know. Cool though, no complaints.
I thought to end on, we could play a game of sorts.
Sure.
Game might be a bit strong word. Let me just grab this here. Now, we got a feature in the magazine called Getting to Know You. It's like a questionnaire.
Getting to know you. What is that?
You filled in this questionnaire. I don't expect you to remember it. In fact, it would kind of ruin this game if you did remember any of it.
I don't know if I did. I don't remember. I mean,
this is from issue 57, which was released in, let me see when this was. It was a long time ago. I think this was around the time of 2.
Okay.
There's got to be a date in here somewhere. 2014 this was.
That's what's up.
Was that 2?
That'd be Salad Days, I think.
Salad Days.
2 was like 2012.
Oh, yeah. This was Salad Days. I think this was just before the record came out.
Okay, cool.
They're all really short answers.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a couple of them.
And see if and then we'll compare answers.
We'll compare the answers to
Okay.
what your answer would be now and what it was then. So, what's your favourite word?
Probably butt cheeks.
Butt cheeks is correct.
Bingo.
Bang! You haven't changed a bit. You say you're getting older and growing up. I don't believe that. Okay, the film you can quote the most of.
Probably Star Wars or maybe Amadeus or Star.
Back then you went for Austin Powers.
Okay. I might have been fibbing back then.
Okay.
Yeah,
How about
maybe Amadeus? I don't know. Who knows?
How about what's your favorite place in the world? What is it right now?
Right now, I love Tokyo. We got to go to Tokyo, and it's been since then, so love it. But what was it then?
It was Hooters then.
I was being a little jackass in this. That's cute.
This is the very first one of these we did. This was like our test run of these, and it's probably still the best one. The most famous person you've met?
I feel like I probably would have said something like Joe Mama or something, but did I give me this? Did I give like a serious answer there?
I couldn't call it because there's a chance you would have met this person, but I'd also wouldn't be surprised if you are going to say like, "Fuck off, I've never met her."
Okay, well let me say, who is the most famous person I would have met now? I've met the dude from Twilight. What's his name?
Oh, Patterson?
Yeah, I met him.
Was he a dude? Was he nice?
Yeah, he was. I mean, I was really drunk, and I talked to him for like 2 seconds.
Okay.
He was like, "Haven't we met before?" And I was like, "I don't know." So he seemed nice. I don't know. We didn't really meet him. I guess who was the most famous?
Shall I say who you were?
I met Jonah Hill. He's extremely famous.
Okay, he's really famous.
He's very famous.
Back then, you said Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, definitely have. Oh no, yeah, I did meet Lindsay Lohan.
Did
once.
you?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's still.
You know
good.
why
That's
I don't
still...
remember those? Because I met her. I was getting introduced to these people on this couch, and I was like, "Oh, hey, hi, how you doing?" It was by my friend Sandy. And then when I got to Lindsay, I was like, "Hey," and I couldn't really hear. There was a show going on, and I was like, Shirley or something. Cool, whatever. Then I walked away, and Kira was like, "That's Lilo," and I was like, "No, it wasn't." And I looked over, I was like, "Oh yeah, it was." So I just completely blanked on it, which is,
She really thought that was cool.
It's pretty famous though. She's famous.
She's really famous. Yeah.
Yeah. Jonah Hill's pretty famous too, though.
I think that needs to now be your answer.
Yeah.
He's more famous than her now, right?
I guess so.
Was he a nice guy?
Yeah, he was. It was kind of he was a big fan, but he was kind of like, "Oh my God!" Not, but it's him freaking out at me, being like, "I love you," and then I was kind of like, "But you're like Jonah." I saw Superbad when I was like super young. I've seen a ton of his movies. It's like.
Superbad is still his best.
That movie's hilarious. I watched it last week.
Yeah.
But for to have somebody that I should be freaking out on freak out at me preemptively was just like, whoa, it's like really weird. But he's a really nice guy.
Okay, let's just do a couple more. Your guilty pleasure.
I probably said. You say Coldplay all the time, but I'm not guilty about Coldplay. Guilty pleasure. Just eating. I eat like shit. That's my guilty pleasure.
Do you know what you said in 2014?
What?
You said pissing in the bath.
No. That's true.
That's your
Oh. Was this over email? Did I do this over email?
This is over email.
Must have been, because I must have thought these out. That's so sick. I love pissing in the bath. I do feel guilty about it though, especially when my girlfriend's in there with me.
Okay, we'll just do this last one. Your biggest disappointment. This questionnaire, you can find out a lot about people and how they answer it.
So I have no idea what I would have said, but let me just say what I'll say now. Biggest disappointment. I don't know. I don't really feel disappointed ever. I liked the new Star Wars movies. Trying to think movies. That's the only thing that really. Star Wars. What other movies have I even seen this year? Pretty much none. Yeah, I didn't like The Hobbit.
Back then, your biggest disappointment was my penis.
Fuck yeah.
Midnight Chats is a loud and quiet podcast. Production by Emma Snook. Music courtesy of Gold Panda. Search Midnight Chats on iTunes for more episodes and to subscribe. For more information, visit loudandquiet.com.